You've all slept on this movie for far too long, and I'm going to change that today and remind you all why this movie needs to be watched. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Scott, and today I'm diving into a movie that gets overlooked like all the time. No one ever looks at this as a serious horror movie, they never look at it as a serious comedy movie, and they never look at it as a serious romantic movie, but it does all of those things. Today I'm looking at Wes Craven's 1995 horror comedy slash romance, A Vampire in Brooklyn. Now, when you hear Wes Craven and vampire movie, you probably think Nightmare on Elm Street meets Dracula. But what we got was something completely different. It was a blend of supernatural scares with Eddie Murphy humour and a really good love story, like almost rom-com level good love story that's completely ignored by everyone who talks about this movie. At its core, Vampire in Brooklyn is about Maximilian, played by the master of comedy himself, Eddie Murphy. He's the last of his kind. He's a sophisticated vampire from the Caribbean who travels to Brooklyn to meet a damnfire. Now, this is a half-human, half-vampire who can help him procreate and save the dying race of the vampire. Now, this damnfire turns out to be Rita Veder, who is a detective investigating a series of murders that Maximilian himself has committed, and she's played by Angela Bassett, who honestly is phenomenal. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. This movie was not a critical darling when it was released. It wasn't even praised a little bit. It was openly hated by everybody. Some people went in expecting a straight up horror film from Wes Craven. Some people went in expecting a straight up comedy because it's Eddie Murphy. They were expecting sort of Coming to America with a vampire. And we didn't get either of those things, and we got both of those things all at the same time. Now, what I think makes this film fascinating is the tightrope that it walks. It's genuinely scary at times. Wes Craven puts in some of his best horror elements, especially in the vampire transformations and the moments of suspense that leads up to kills. Like, it's really, really good. And then Eddie Murphy is just, well, Eddie Murphy, as he is in every movie he does. He's unparalleled with his comedic timing and ability to perform multiple characters, very much like he does in The Clump. So in this, he doesn't just play Maximilian, he plays an Italian gangster named Guido and a really weird preacher called Reverend Paulie. And he does a great job in portraying these three very different characters, as he always does. Visual effects for this, for 1995, are surprisingly good. The vampire transformations are gross. They're really well done, and the powers that Maximilian has are given to us in a blend of practical effects with CGI, and it does look a little dated now, but if I'm honest, it holds up surprisingly well for other films that come out in this time. Like, this is the top end of good for those sort of effects. But beyond the horror and comedy is the heart of the movie, the thing that gets overlooked by everyone. It's the relationship between Maximilian and Rita. Now, it's born out of this supernatural necessity for him to save his kind, but there's a real intensity and chemistry between Murphy and Rita. Like, it's really, really impressive. And he's playing a literal monster, and she's not on board, and then she is, and if I'm honest, you find yourself rooting for them despite how strange the situation is and the fact that Maximilian is the bad guy. You find yourself wanting them to succeed. You want them to get their goal, which is a real strange place to be, supporting the villain in his villainous goals of keeping his villainous race alive. Like, he wants to keep vampires alive, and you want that to happen. Now, this film is not perfect, not by any means. There are some pacing issues. It is very uneven in its tone, like where it switches from one to the other, it's very jarring. Like, 1 minute it's scary, followed by a one-liner. Then there's a love scene, then there's a one-liner, then there's scare again. Like, it's really jumps all over the place. But I think if you go back into A Vampire in Brooklyn with an open mind and go in not expecting anything from it, you get a real unique blend of horror, comedy and romance, and I think you might find that you like it.
There's a lot of love in this room. Look at this.
I think Vampire in Brooklyn is a hidden gem in Eddie Murphy's filmography, and it is a real testament to how good Wes Craven was, how versatile he was as a director, that he could give us something that's so tonally different to things he'd done before and still make it great. Like, this dared to be different, it dared to stand alone, and it deserves more credit than it ever receives. For me, this is a perfect watch at Halloween, or any time you're in a mood for something that is just a little bit off kilter, that's just different and entertaining in a weird way. So if you haven't seen Vampire in Brooklyn, or you haven't watched it in a long time, I'd recommend going back and checking it out. If you have seen it and you've watched it recently, I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this. Did you love it? Do you hate it? Were you as confused as me the very first time you watched it as to what this actually is? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know next time I drop another retro movie like this and talk about it, or I do a new release or a trailer reaction, or all the other stuff we do here on the channel. So make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. And until next time I see you, be good.